Hey, Paul. Good to see you. Thanks for having this chat with me today. Just for everybody who's watching the video, my name's Jessica Scanlon, and I'm the founder of an agency in the Austin area called Hot Dog Marketing. We work with small to medium-sized business owners. And with me is Paul. Paul, tell us a little bit about you.
Hi, yeah, thanks for having me, Jessica. Enjoyed talking with you today. Yeah, so my name's Paul Skeith. I practice business law in Austin, Texas, Central Texas region. I'm one of the founding partners of Richards, Rodriguez, and Skeith, and we're a full-service law firm that works with middle market businesses in Central Texas.
It's awesome. So you and I know each other pretty well, and we've been talking about AI, and I know AI is going to be probably the biggest topic at South by in March. And so I thought, wouldn't it be interesting if you and I could sit down and just chat about the considerations people should be having when it comes to working with AI in their professional lives? And so I'll just kick it over to you. Kind of what comes to mind when I bring up the topic of generative AI?
Yeah, and we're either going to look really smart or really behind the times since we're talking now in July as opposed to March. And
That's
I
right.
just think the speed of change, right, on this is really amazing. So I look forward to talking with you in next March and see how we did here.
Yeah, it'll
But
be completely different.
that's right. But I've really got three areas that I've been thinking about. I mean, one is internally in sort of the business of law. So I've been tasked by our firm to be thinking about what does this mean for the practice of law, particularly
Hmm.
generative AI. What does it mean? And really, I think that what it looks like for lawyers and how it impacts the legal profession is something like this. A piece of it is going to be as a great kind of first draft writer
Hmm.
for different contracts, pleadings, briefs, even all of these things. Where if you're feeding in sort of solid case and legal and secondary source information, you can get a decent first draft out of it.
Yeah.
At least that's the hope. I don't think we're actually there yet with the tools that I've seen. I've seen some AI tools that have promised that, and
Yeah.
sometimes they get it and sometimes they don't. But I just think the efficiency of that, clients are going to be demanding that. So lawyers are going to have to figure out how to do it.
Hmm.
The other piece on the business side that I think is here right now is almost a is document review. So
Yeah.
large batches of huge databases of documents and litigation, for example, or maybe thousands and thousands of contracts that a law
Yeah.
firm has done, being able to use that to review existing documents or pleadings or contracts for consistency and style and numbering and all of that.
Yeah.
Those tools are here right now, and it's creating kind of an arms race in the
Hmm.
legal industry because we're really looking at, here's this comment that I get back saying, oh, you must be a ridiculously dumb lawyer because you didn't catch this numbering change or these two spaces instead of one,
Yeah.
right?
That's
And so
right.
now all law firms are going to be sort of saying, okay, we have to have it, right?
Hmm.
Um, but outside of the business of the law, there's really the other two things that I'm thinking about is the law itself with
Hmm.
AI, and one of them being a question that's heating up right now as we speak. But the question of, all right, who owns the content that AI is training itself on,
Right.
and do those people have a copyright claim for AI that's scraping up the stuff that they worked on and otherwise would be able to sell, and now are sort of involuntarily training
Hmm.
these AI algorithms on. I also read this morning an article that was talking about, well, this is not going to matter because we're going to be using synthetic content to train AI generative models and not people generated content,
Oh,
probably by the time we're there in March.
yeah.
But there's still that question of, okay, well, if you've scraped all the books that Google has scanned, right? Do
Yeah.
those authors have some sort of claim? And so that's one thing to figure out. The
Hmm.
flip side of it, and maybe more directly practical, even though we're still in sort of the Wild West phase of all of this, I think,
Yeah.
is, you know, if you're a business and you use AI to generate key content, do you
Hmm.
get to really claim a copyright on that? Do you get to protect it
Yeah.
with intellectual property law? And one of the key tenets of copyright law always has been, well, there's got to be some sort of creative endeavor and
Yeah.
around the content in order for it to be copyrightable. And it makes me wonder. I mean, we'll find out what this looks like by March, but right now it looks to me like maybe businesses who use AI don't own what they used it for. So if it's
Right.
blog posts or something that doesn't matter that much, great.
Right.
Maybe that risk reward makes sense. But if it's your key collateral, if it's your key marketing materials, like the kind of
Hmm.
key designs, maybe it's worth thinking twice before you just rely on something that AI generates. But
Yeah.
that was a lot of words. But I mean, Jessica, what are you seeing in your world?
Yeah, I think similar as an agency owner, and we've been doing this for 12 years, and we've probably evolved. I can count 4 or 5 times where you had to make a hard switch to using a new technology or adapting a new platform. And so, but the pressure to figure out how to use AI in an agency is on, just like it is for your firm, right? I feel like we're going to have clients who are expecting us to be more efficient using it. But my fear, and fear as a business owner too, is that we use it in the wrong way and screw up something for our clients in the future. Like you mentioned, can they not own the work if it was created there? And then Google's gone back and forth a couple of times on whether or not they're even going to allow AI generated content to be something that affects their search algorithm, that they still want human content and expertise being added to the web, not AI generated stuff. So I think there's just a lot of pressure right now to understand it. And by the time we get to March, we'll probably have some really interesting, maybe some cases that are out in the open. There's some regulations I know that the EU is looking at, and we'll have more information by then, but I think it'd be useful to keep the conversation going about the pros and cons and considerations that we have to have when we're using it.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense to me because the one thing that is clear, I think, is if you're using it as a business and something goes wrong, like there
Yeah.
was that lawyer who generated a brief with AI and AI convincingly wrote about cases. The only problem is those cases didn't exist,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So it totally made it up, right? So I don't think the AI ate my homework excuse. The AI did it, I didn't
Yeah.
know about it. Like that's not a great excuse, right? I think
Yeah.
that businesses are going to be held to what they put out there, um, even if it was generated by AI that messed it up too.
Yeah.
So
And I hate the idea that they wouldn't be able to own a tagline or a logo or something really crucial that's usually a really valuable business asset. And so I don't want us looking at those tools to replace human creativity, but at the same time, how do you become more efficient with your business with using it, and do it the right way, which is really what I want the conversation we have in March to be about. So I really appreciate chatting with you. I hope, we'll be keeping an eye out on what's going on in this world and listening to 10,000 podcasts about AI between now and then and reading
all
the
right,
news. But I look forward to chatting with you more in March at South by.
that sounds great.
Yeah. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.